Okay, welcome to those who are present and welcome to those who are watching the replay. My name is Diana Morgan. I am the founder of Whole Heart Marketing, and I'm excited to be here today to share with you. And we are going to talk about AI because it's everybody, well, not everybody, let me not make generalizations. Many people are having sort of resistance and things are happening for them around it. And so I just really want to talk about how we're going to merge AI and the human experience with social media. So, for those of you who have never met me before, Whole Heart Marketing is a proven systems based approach to authentic heart centered marketing on the internet to build continued, consistent, credible visibility and influence with strategic partners, clients, and followers, while leveraging your time and resources to generate consistent income and make a bigger impact. I have been doing this work for nearly 20 years. I have my book, The Whole Heart Social Media Success Formula: What to Say, Where to Play, and How to Win Intentional Social Media for Purpose-Driven Entrepreneurs, which I invite you to purchase on Amazon. And to learn more about me and my path to doing internet marketing, I'm not going to go too into my story today, but what I am going to say is that I do bring my spiritual consciousness and my experiences with being a coach and a spiritual officiant combined with my inner geek. And that's where I bring my information from. So I have uh, embraced the internet. I know that some of us feel like social media can be the most annoying thing that ever walked the face of the earth. And it can also be a powerful force for change in the world and for positive change in the world. And my mission is to raise the consciousness of social media so that we can use social media to raise consciousness and elevate humanity. So today I'm going to dive right in and I'm going to start by talking about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the combination of humans plus AI equals co-intelligence for easier visibility. And I'm going to just jump right in right now and ask you to consider having a mindset shift right in this moment. If you know me, many of you know me, and you're going to watch this replay and you're going to say, okay, Diana's always asking us to have mind shifts around internet marketing, around social media. And the one for today is about AI. That if you can think of AI as co-intelligence instead of artificial intelligence, it's going to be easier for you to embrace it. And if you can think of AI, whatever platform you're using, as your thought partner. So that's what I want you to think about. I'm going to use the term AI today, but think of it as your co-partner or your thought partner. And when you think about it that way, you're never going to be pulling straight from AI and putting that anywhere on your social media. You're going to be using it to get ideas. You're going to be using it to help you to keep moving forward. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm not going to dive into specifics of how to do these strategies on AI. That's another class. But what we're going to talk about today are the ways that you can use AI to enhance your social media. So you're going to leave with a clear strategy to attract your ideal clients, a simple structure for post videos and DMs, and a plan to show up, share from the heart, and promote your work without the ick factor. A human first approach supported by AI. And for anybody who is in regulated industries, for example, financial industries or insurance or some of the direct sales companies, you can still use AI, use social media to build relationships that convert into referrals and clients. And that is the social media success strategy, which we're going to talk about. So, of course, you know me, let's tell the truth here. The internet is a 24/7 networking opportunity. Okay. It's an opportunity to connect, to build relationships, and to get clients, of course. So, the question I ask you is, how do you show up? Are you consistent? Do you show up occasionally? Are you excited to be on social media? Or do you feel like it's a should? It's just, oh my goodness, I got to do this thing. I don't want to do it. Because here's the thing, everything is energy. So people feel you. Your goal is to show up on social media in a way that people would feel you the same way as they experience you in person. So if you're showing up with this negativity and like you don't want to be doing it and you don't, you're just in resistance, people feel that. And if you're showing up and opening up your computer and wherever you're at saying like, oh boy, I get to meet some new people. I get to see what people are doing, the people I care about, and maybe the people I don't even know, then people feel that energy and you feel that energy. So we're going to talk about that more today and how you can have more of that positive energy. But the first thing I want to ask you is, how do you show up? Are you showing up consistently, occasionally excited, or as a big fat should? So, what is your intention on social media? Is your intention to make new connections? Is it networking with existing connections, referrals, clients? Is it to become inspired? I love all the quotes and inspiration and the stories. Is it education? Is it to find out what's happening? I hope it's not to find out what's happening with the news, because if it is, then you should be checking at least three more sources. Or is it connecting with family and friends? So, what are your intentions? Why are you showing up on social media? Because it's really important for you to think about that, because it's going to really determine how you are on social media and what you share. So, if your intention on social media is to show up, to connect, to share, and inspire, then you're in the right place with us here today, because that's what we're going to be talking about. And if you're feeling invisible on social media, guess what? It's not you, it's them. Okay? It's the algorithm shift, which we're going to talk about today. And your energy, again, your energy, your presence is what drives visibility. And then AI supports you with clarity. So the first thing I want to just jump into here is, a lot of people don't share on social media. They don't play. I like to say play because it creates the right mindset, because they feel salesy and icky. Okay, so here's how salesy happens. When you're posting only promotions and you're skipping the relationship part, when you're leading with offers instead of value, and when you're trying to sell too soon before you have influence. And aren't those really the three things that make you feel salesy in person networking as well? There's the internet is really nothing different than meeting with people in person. So when you're just going into a room and, hey, you want to buy this, you want to buy that, guess what? You're going to feel salesy and icky. So, how do you not feel salesy and icky is that we're going to talk about the social media success formula. Hi, Becky, welcome. You'll catch the beginning on the replay. So, the very first thing you want to do with your social media, we're going to talk about the social media success formula, but before we even get to that, it's so important that you optimize your profile and posts. So maybe now that you're getting this class today and you're going to be so excited and you're going to go jump in and like, yeah, I'm going to get really super active on my social media. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to complete your profiles. Make sure that wherever you're playing on social media, that your picture is current, make sure your profile is current and it describes your most current version of what you're doing. We all know that we're continually evolving and upgrading. So make sure that your description of what you do is current. Okay. Using keywords, make sure you're using keywords in your descriptions, because that's how the search engines know who to show your content to. Create attractive visuals, have a nice cover photo, and be consistent with your profile. I actually go in and check my profiles about once a month. I make sure that everything is the way I want it to be. If you have links in your profiles, make sure your links are connected so they're not sending people to a dead page. So always want to be making sure you optimize your posts and your profile. Okay, now we're going to start talking about the social media success formula. This is a three-part relationship, and promotion framework. Okay. And this is detailed in my book, but we're going to get into the basics of it today. So, step one is connect. So, you're going to start with something relatable. You're going to connect with people. Step two is to serve, share useful information, educate, inspire, and motivate. And step three is to make a warm, specific. Actually, I changed that word to invitation. It says offer now, but I like to say invitation. So to break that down a little bit further, here's what this is what I've been doing for the past 20 years. So this is not something that I actually learned from anyone else, but it's something that it's tried and tested. And this is a way to use social media as a networking event. And I'm going to pause right here to say that, when you think about social media, there's really two components to it. So there's us, what we post, that's called user generated content. Humans, there's what we do, there's our liking, commenting, sharing, playing. Okay. And then the other side of that is ads. It's the ads that the platforms offer to us to see. So if we don't play on social media, then it's just ads. So the social media platforms entice us to play by offering us opportunities to get more visibility. For example, by liking, commenting, sharing, when we're conversing and being humans, we get a higher visibility. We get higher up in people's feeds. So when you comment on something and when you converse and you have a dialogue, you're going to get higher up in the feed than if you just pump out posts. Okay. So when we do videos, we're going to get higher up in the feed, especially if we do them live versus just posting a video. So these are the ways that we can use the opportunities that the platforms offer us to get higher visibility. So I say play the game, but play it with intention. Play it from a place of how you want to be seen and experienced on social media. And so AI can help with the structure of consistency in many, many ways. And I'm going to talk about those specifically as we go through this talk. But so the first piece of this, it's a formula of 50-40-10. So 50% of the time that you are on social media, and I'm going to say an hour a day. So that hour a day broken into 4 15-minute segments. So 50% of the time that you're on social media should be engaging, liking, commenting, sharing, connecting, branding yourself, building relationships. And all the time I hear people say, I'm doing so much, I'm posting, and I'm not getting anything from my social media. So engaging, free organic reach, the human experience is the engine that moves people to see your posts and other content. And here's the thing that I was going to say back about the two components of social media. It's never going to change that liking, commenting, sharing, engaging, and playing on social media is going to be the way to get reach. Okay. That's never going to change. And it's never going to be replaced by AI. It is an evergreen strategy that if you see social media as a networking opportunity, you're going to be able to, no matter what the algorithms are doing, you're going to be able to get reach from showing up on social media. And that's what this talk is about, is how to show up on social media without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling salesy and icky, and to just bypass the algorithms and the AI and all of it. So 50% of the time, that's what you're doing. And we're going to break that down a little bit more in a minute. On your personal Facebook, you can easily, it's from your personal profile. So you're liking, commenting, sharing whatever you're doing from your personal profile. In other words, it isn't like Whole Heart Marketing liked my post. It's Diana Konkoff Morgan liked my post. And you can feel the difference, like who's Whole Heart Marketing? But I would like to think that everybody knows who I am and I'm a household name, but I'm not. So, but Diana Konkoff Morgan, my friends and followers know who I am, and it matters that I liked their post or I engaged with them. Okay, so you're on Facebook, you're sharing and doing all of that from your personal profile. And then on LinkedIn, you're just kind of dividing it in half. So half of the time you're engaging and half of the time you're doing these other two activities. Same on all other platforms. It's just easier on Facebook because it's divided into the personal. And then on your business page, you're doing your business. Okay, so that's 50% of your time. 40% of your time is to educate, inspire, and motivate. And this is to serve. And this is where you can actually use AI. You can use AI to help you create content. You can use AI to help you post your content. This is a great use of AI, of a virtual assistant, of all kinds of help. But you can't get that kind of help from showing up. You can't get help to replace you. That has to be you. So if you are efficient, you find someone to help you with these other pieces, and then you get to use all your time to show up and really engage and build relationships. So 50% of the time you're connecting, branding yourself. 40% of the time you're serving, educate, inspire, motivate. 10% of the time you're promoting and you're inviting people to something that is free because that's what people expect and gives people an opportunity to get to know you. It could be a free talk. It could be a free, like I like to do I do a training like this every month, and it gives people an idea of how it would be to work with me. It's not exactly like this to work with me because when I'm coaching and having classes, it's more interactive. This is more like a webinar kind of talk, but you get an idea of how it would be. So that is the social media success formula. So now let's break that down. So let's talk about the 50%. Like, what does that look like? It looks like liking, following, commenting, sharing, caring, participating in the conversation. And I like the CARE acronym that I created: connect, acknowledge, respond, and engage. So, if somebody comments, comment back. If somebody shares your content, acknowledge it, thank them. Don't leave people hanging because you wouldn't do that in person, right? But people somehow don't get that it's the same thing on social media. So this is a great guide for you to, what do you do? Another thing to think about is timing. You want to optimize your online presence by being online. This is where that 15 minutes comes in. When you are like, it's not an hour a day, it's 15 minutes 4 times a day. Because again, when you are live and comment and respond to comments, you're going to get higher up in everybody's algorithms, in everybody's feeds. So it's what you want to do. I mean, you can use the analytics on Facebook or LinkedIn, wherever, but you can also just start showing up 15 minutes 4 times a day, and you're going to really see who's online and who you can interact with. And the main thing I want to say about this, so it's like, it's business social media, the hour a day. It's not like, open up your social media and then I've fallen and I can't get out of Facebook. It's structured timer, 15 minutes, or, even if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you have time during the day, little breaks where you could be doing this. And the thing about it is that if you knew that you were going to build relationships and build referrals from this, I mean, wouldn't it be worth it? If not, you might want to consider your business plan, but I'm just saying it's worth it. Okay, so timing. And then the next piece of this, which is so crucial, is you want to be thinking about your ideal client. So here's what happens. You open up Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, wherever you are, and usually the first thought that people have is, what should I say? And that's not the first thought that you want to have. The first thought that you want to have is, who am I talking to? Who is that one person that is my ideal client? What is the struggle that I can talk about in my social media so that they know that I get what they're struggling with and that causes them to lean in and become curious? And what am I offering them? And what is the transformation that I offer? So that when they see your content going through their social media feed, or they come to your Facebook business page or your LinkedIn or wherever they are, they're going to be curious and they're going to say like, oh, she gets me. Oh, I want to know more. And yes, you need a Facebook business page for anybody who's like, do I need a Facebook business page? Yes, you need a Facebook business page because you can't really do that much business on your personal profile, or you're going to get dinged by Facebook and you're not going to get any visibility. So, who are you talking to? This is my strategy that I share every time I speak. So, take a screenshot because this is a hot strategy. This right here is worth the price of admission, even though it was free to get in. So, I want you to pick 5 people a week to play with because what I hear from people all the time over and over again, Diana, it's overwhelming. I don't know where to start. It's like, you don't have to reach all 4+ billion people. Okay. You only need a small amount of people to really have a thriving business. If each of us is 6 degrees away from everybody in the world, and we each represent 50,000 people in our small, tiny little network, all you really need are maybe, 50 people, and you're going to have a thriving business of referrals and clients. So, who are these 5 people? They're active on social media because they're going to play this game with you. Okay. Their last post was not in August of last year. It's like they're posting every day, just like you, and engaging. They're active networkers. They offer a different service to a similar target market. They have similar values in their messaging so that you want to share each other's content. Where do you find them? They're your friends on Facebook. They're your friends on your connections on LinkedIn or Instagram. They're the people that you already know. You do not have to go and find people cold. Maybe they're in a networking group that you're in. Even if you're in an in-person networking group, have you connected with all those people on social media? If you have an email list, have you connected with all those people on social media? And by the way, make sure you get all the social media connect people onto your email list. That's another whole conversation. But here, so they're people you already know. Who are you seeing their posts all the time, but you're not really engaging? Okay. And what do you do with these strategic partners? You're going to comment on their page, share their content. If your friends tag them when you share their content, look for ways to engage, lift them up, share things that they're up to, invite them to maybe have a Zoom coffee with you. Here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to paste your anything in their messenger, not your free thing, not anything, because that's still promoting until you get to know them. Once you get to know them, yes, you can invite them to your free thing, or you can invite them to like your business page, but not until you have played with them. So here's what happens with that strategy. You're going to start liking what's in your feed, because right now probably in your feed is a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with you. So you're going to be controlling your news feed. If you do this every day for 30 days, your newsfeed is going to be what you want it to be. It's going to be things you care about. You're going to start caring about your notifications. So you're going to see your notifications like, oh, Becky liked my post, or, oh, Valerie shared my post. You're going to start liking your notifications, because here's what happens. When you like or share or engage with somebody, what happens? What do? We go check out who they are and what they're about. And then we like and share, we reciprocate. That's just how we are as humans. Or that's the kind of people you want to be playing with. So that's the game. Okay. And you'll pick 5 people a week. 2 or 3 people will play, couple people won't. Pick 5 more people the next week. Couple people play, couple people won't, and just keep doing this. And if you keep doing this for 3 or 4 months, your social media reach is going to expand exponentially. And you're going to start getting, you may not get clients, but you're going to get referrals. You're going to get opportunities. Most of the speaking gigs that I get to speak 40, 50 times a year. And most of those speaking opportunities at this point come from people just remembering, oh yeah, Diana, get Diana to speak. And referrals and all kinds of opportunities come when you show up. So if you have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat and I will get to them by the end. So yeah, so just letting you know that. So what does this 15 minutes 4 times a day look like? And this is another good screenshot. So what are you going to do? You're going to like just focus on your social media, and you could pick like one platform to focus on, say, or you could a couple. So you're going to check your notifications on social media in the upper little right-hand corner, the little red number with the little envelope. You're going to explore who you've played with in the past. You're going to like, comment, share, and maybe make one in-depth comment. And then you're going to think about what you can share of their content and then make some other comments. So these are all things that you could do. And notice what's not on here. No posting, that doesn't count. That's a whole other strategy. I'm not saying don't post. You should definitely post. I post at least one thing a day between education, quotes, inspiration, articles. I post things, and sometimes I share other people's things. So if you share someone else's post, that counts as a post um, on your social media. But I'll give you a little super tip here, which is if you're going to share someone's content, it's better, you get more visibility if you share it as an original post. So if you copy the content, copy the picture, it's much easier to do on the phone, and then share it as an original post, you're going to get higher visibility. The important thing is when you do this, you want to tag them, because if you don't tag the person, then it's not really a win-win. But if you share their content and you tag them, then it's a win-win. Sometimes I don't do that when I'm feeling lazy, but I try to do that. Not the not tagging. Sometimes I just share. I just click the share button. But we don't get much visibility these days from the share button. So the next thing you want to think about for who do you play with are, collaborate with influential people in your community. And these kinds of collaborations, when you're sharing other people's stuff, when you're playing with other people, when you're liking and commenting on other people's content, that stands out above AI interaction. Okay. So even like I've read these articles like, don't bother being on social media, it's all AI and bots. No, don't fall for that. When you are a human engaging on social media, the social media platforms and the bots know that. They know the difference. So don't fall into that thinking. Partner with influencers in your niche, collaborate with complementary brands, co-create content to reach a broader audience, and partner with people in your lane. So if you're going to do like posting parties and things like that, where you post with other people, post with people that are in your lane so that your content is going to be reaching people that are your ideal clients and not just doing it to do it. Always be intentional, always be playing in your lane. So the goal is to build relationships that build influence. Human presence is what builds visibility and reach. Show up consistently, stay connected, be curious, ask questions. Engage with your audience before you post. So before you start posting your stuff, this is what I'm talking about, is that human activity is the engine of social media. So respond to comments, ask questions, like and share people's posts, show appreciation if someone shares your post. Do all of that and then post your content, and you're going to really notice a difference. I mean, if you want to ask me what is the thing that I hear the most often from people in the past 20 years as a social media teacher, coach, consultant, nobody's seeing my posts. This right here is how people are going to see your posts. Because when whoever you start liking, commenting, and sharing, those are the people that are going to see your posts, and their friends, not just those people. But that's how it works. That is exactly how social media works. And that is never going to change. And it's not going away. Okay, so that is 50% of your time, how to play on social media. Now we're going to talk about 40% of your time is to educate, inspire, and motivate. So marketing, this is my definition of marketing. Marketing is about inspiring people to take action on your expertise. Guess what marketing is not? Marketing is not sales. And that's why this is so important that you think about this in terms of the content that you're sharing. What do you inspire people to do? What is your core message on social media? What is that thing that you want people to get when they land on your social media? What is that message? And so this is something where you can definitely use AI for support to have more visibility with ease. You can use AI. I do an entire workshop on how to use AI to create content. You can create content, you can create blogs, you can create social media posts, all of that. Of course, infusing your own voice. You're never going to use it straight out of AI. But all of that, if you're somebody who just struggles with, I don't know what to write, or, whatever it is, you can use AI for that. Okay. You're going to come in with your own ideas and you're going to get that support. So I want to talk about the big algorithm change. I talked about it in the beginning. It's not you, it's them, that has come about this year. It's on Facebook and it's really all social media platforms. Okay. So what's happened is the platforms are now prioritizing interest-based content over friends and followers. So it used to be the people who were going to see your content were friends and followers. That is still true for 50% of your social media. So that's why I'm talking about picking the 5 people and all of the free organic reach. Don't stop doing that. Okay. And now we have an even bigger opportunity to reach people through our content, because 50% of the content that you are seeing and that other people are seeing is not your friends and followers. It's based on what the platforms think, who the platforms think will be interested in your content. And how they determine that is by the words that you're using. So Facebook now pushes content to non-followers and based on their interests and their engagement history. Okay. So if your content is engaging, it's getting likes, comments, and shares, Facebook might recommend it to users who don't even follow you. If your reels and video content are getting visibility, then Facebook and other platforms might send people to your reels and videos based on interest. Okay. So it's based on um, interest, on the words. Okay, so Becky's question is, what's the best way to learn how to do reels? So reels now on Facebook, basically videos are considered reels. I mean, the best way is to do in a class. There are lots of people who teach how to do reels. It's very easy. You can find out on a YouTube video. It's there. There's a lot of different variables. It depends what kind of, how are you doing it? It's a big question. And basically, once you learn the fundamentals of how to do reels, then you can actually, figure out how you want to do your reels. Where there's lots of platforms where you can just put your video in and make reels from it. You can make them from your phone. Um, I definitely can recommend how to learn how to do reels. I don't really focus on that so much in my own teaching because I feel like there's just so many ways to do it and there's so many people that specialize in that. I'm more about the content and the strategy. But I will get back to you on that. So So on your personal profile, the best strategy is to set your profile to public. Some of you are like, private or just friends. This is where we have to come back to, like, what is your intention on social media? If your intention on social media is to really expand and reach people, you want your profile to be set to public. And especially when you're doing reels, etc. Um, because otherwise you're going to really limit who's going to see your content. So this means you want to be very strategic about your content, about what you're doing on your personal profile, and you're probably going to see more free organic reach as well. On your so the best strategy moving forward for your business pages, Focus on short videos. The reason I put reels in parentheses here is because basically now Facebook has really changed so that all short forms are reels. Now, to get more fancy, there's all things you can do to make fancy reels, and there's all kinds of classes for that, and I can recommend some. Um, Use engaging posts, content that sparks conversations, polls, questions, and shareable posts. For personal profile, consider using Facebook's professional mode. If you have been on Facebook for a while and you're using it actively and you have a lot of friends, you probably have the ability to change your Facebook to professional mode. And what that is, it's like there's three dots on the right-hand side and you can shift to professional mode. Keep in mind, if you change your Facebook personal profile to professional mode, it does not mean now it's a business page. It's still a personal profile, and you cannot do a bunch of promoting on there unless you pay for ads, or you will get dinged. But you will notice that your reach increases. You can get analytics. You can boost posts and do ads. I do recommend it if you are using your personal profile regularly, and if you some people don't have the option yet, and I think it's because if they're not using their personal page regularly. But it is I did experiment with it before I switched to it, so it definitely is a good thing. And if you're using groups, do public group, because that way, you're going to reach more non-members. Now, also keep in mind that if you are doing a group, that group is not your database. That group is not your email mailing list. You always want to be having a goal of getting your contacts on social media onto your email list so that you can stay in touch with them until they're ready for you, because not everybody's ready for you right now, and social media could be gone tomorrow. So it's just marketing. Okay, so just keep in mind 50% or more of the content that you see is suggested for you from people you've never heard of. And so if the algorithm thinks a person is interested in the content, it's more likely that it will show up in their feed, even if they're not a follower. So it's more important than ever that you create content that is a reflection of your brand and engaging using the right words. And these are the words that your ideal clients would use to search for you. So I'm going to talk about hashtags for a minute. I get many questions. Are we still doing hashtags? Yes, we are. But now my new answer is maybe within the next year or two, we won't be, because of AI, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It'll just be important to use the right words. But you can use AI to research hashtags in your niche to ask what the best hashtags are. So hashtags perform several functions. They connect your post with topics and audiences. They allow users to search by hashtag, and they allow the platform algorithm to search content to users receptive to that content. So there's still a good sort of like, searchlight to get people to see your content and to search for other people's content. So this strategy is pretty much what I use. You want to do like there's three steps, and this is a good screenshot to take for this particular hashtag strategy. So you do maybe a couple for what the content relates to, a couple for the problem being solved, and a couple for the audience being targeted. This would be on Facebook, and on Instagram you could do more, but it would be these three categories. On LinkedIn, 3 to 5 hashtags max. Even 3 is really good. So for what the content relates to, like I would do hashtag, Facebook algorithm, or hashtag social media success. Then maybe I would do the problem to be solved, hashtag get more clients. Okay. And then for the audience, hashtag entrepreneurial women or successful women entrepreneurs. So think about, for you, what would those three categories be? And just to make sure everyone knows, nobody can own a hashtag. You can make up your own hashtags. You can use a hashtag that someone else is using, but make sure it relates to what you're doing, because you don't want to be using a hashtag that someone else is using if it doesn't relate to what you're doing, even if it's popular. Okay. So the bottom line is to share valuable, informative, engaging content, maintain a consistent posting schedule. I've said this a couple of times now. I'm going to highlight it right now. It creates a disconnect for people when you are showing up and then all of a sudden you don't show up. Be consistent. If you're not feeling inspired, there's a week where you're busy or you're not feeling inspired or you don't want to share things that are going on, share other people's content. You can still be present without pumping out posts, and you can still show up without sharing things that you don't want to share. Okay? So be consistent at least 3 times a week. Use a mix of content types, articles, videos, infographics, etc., and focus on providing solution. It says answering questions. If you are licensed in any way, you don't want to give people advice on social media. You could say, someone asks a question, you could say, I don't know you. I can give general information. I'm happy to consult with you, but don't give advice on social media anywhere. Don't give advice on your blog or anything. Okay, what to share? This is more of the 40% educate, inspire, and motivate. Authentic content created by users often gets shared due to its relatable and trustworthy nature. Okay, so when you share personal stories, like you could share a personal story, it doesn't have to be too vulnerable and overexposed for you, but it can be personal. It can be something that happened in the past. It could be something that relates to your business. Okay. And then you can get ideas from AI of what to share. You could put in a description of your ideal client. You could put in like a sales page of what you sell. And then you could say, can you give me some ideas of stories that I might share? Can you give me some ideas of, inspirational quotes? So these are all, and you could put a blog in there and or put a sales page and get, quotes from content that you have actually created. So it's like I post Diana-isms, which are quotes that I have created that AI created for me from my content. So you can share testimonials, reviews, lift other people up, humor and memes that is in your lane, appropriate to your brand, inspirational quotes, heartwarming stories, educational content, personal stories, milestones, achievements. All of these are things that you could share on your personal profile. So like what I say is on your personal profile with this 40%, share your passion for your business. And on your business pages, share your business. So your passion might be like, I'm so excited to share about that I'm speaking at this event, or about a book that you're publishing, or a success that a client had. All of those are things that you can share on your personal profile that are about your business, but they're about your passion for your business. And then don't put a link to click here. Just share the great content. You can put a link every now and again, but again, we're back to the 10%. So if you're sharing 50% brand yourself, 40% educate, inspire, and motivate, then when you share your 10% of promotion, it's fine. You're not going to get dinged. But if you only share the 10%, then that's 100%. So host live sessions. You can get AI to help you outline your live sessions, give you ideas and scripts. What I do sometimes is I'll write like a blog, and then I'll ask for can you give me 4 90-second video scripts, but I'll just use them for an idea. I never read them, but I'll use them for an idea for a Facebook Live. Use live streaming on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Engage with your audience in real time. Host Q&As. Promote live sessions. All of these, and always download your videos and share them across all platforms as MP4s. Don't share your YouTube links, but share as MP4s on all of your platforms. And I do get into lives and how to do all these videos in my classes. Okay, creating and sharing stories. So stories are great because when you share a story, which is a Facebook function, you're at the top of everybody's news feed. You'll notice it on your phone. You'll notice it on your computer when you have Facebook open. You'll see all those little squares that are the stories. So it's great because you're in the top of everyone's news feed. The downside of stories is that you're only up for 24 hours. So if you're sharing something that you want people to see, then what you want to do is make sure that you are sharing it in the feed as well as in stories, so that, because I don't know about you, but have you ever done that thing where you go to look at a story and you click on it and it like goes away? So you want to definitely make sure that you're sharing your content in people's feeds. So that's 40% of your time. So now you've built influence by branding yourself. You've built influence by sharing your content, sharing education with people. And now 10% is to invite. And this would be your free thing. It could be events, it could be products. If you can't invite products, you can, if you can't give products for free, you could do a 100% guarantee. You could do special offers. This is 10% of your time. And you can do this on your personal and your business social media as long as you're doing the 90%. So just to give you a little strategy for storytelling instead of selling, your story is your superpower, and AI cannot replicate that. So this is where the human comes in. You can share a personal story about how a product or service helped you or someone else rather than just saying buy this or and then you could say DM me if you're interested. You can also say, instead of sign up for my program or sign up for my services, you could share, I remember when I or one of my clients struggled with whatever it is, I put social media. And here's how I changed that. And now I help others do the same. So these are ways that you can share a story on your personal profile about what you sell. So, without being salesy and icky and without getting dinged by Facebook and without, being viewed as AI. So the bottom line that I want to close with is that, co-intelligence is there for you to support you. It can organize your ideas. It can repurpose content. It can maintain your consistency. But you have to stay human on social media, and then AI can be your support. So I would love for you to put in the chat one thing that you're going to implement from today, from our talk. One thing. And if you're watching this video, you could put it on Facebook. Send me a message or put it on my Facebook. What's one thing? 15-minute. Oh, good. Okay. 15-minute, 4 times a day. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So what I would like to do is, if it's okay, I would love to share, if you have interest, I would love to share how you can continue to work with me. So I'm super excited about my offer for today because it's different than anything I've ever done. So I have been teaching this social media get it done now class for the past year. And December is going to be my last month of teaching this class. Now I'm going to be teaching it differently starting in January. It's going to be bi-monthly in a Facebook group. It's going to be similar content, but it's going to be bi-monthly, like twice a month instead of weekly, because it's just a little too much weekly. But that being said, I have like 50 videos, like 30-minute videos of teaching from this whole year that I have recorded on every single aspect: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, editorial calendar, all kinds of things. So what I would like to do is I would like to make an offer to you, a special end of the year offer. And this is an opportunity to take your results to the next level, to discover the Whole Heart Social Media Success Formula, how you can implement it, to stop wasting time and money on social media, to get out of confusion and overwhelm, to learn what's working now. So you're going to walk away with tools to rock your results. Authentic, heart-centered networking strategies on social media, ways to build influence, credibility, and visibility, strategies to get more than just likes and comments. And you're going to increase your income and set yourself up for maximum success. So here's what I'm offering. The class for December is going to meet Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 a.m. in the morning and Pacific time. The investment is $97. The end of the year special is that you're going to get 1 month of live class and you will have access to the entire year of my replays, including I have done extensive, there's a master class in there on how to use AI. There's 2 master classes on how to use AI. There's a master class on how to promote your book or chapter. There's a bunch of master classes. There's every single class is labeled. There's templates. It's really a gold mine. And so you would have access to that to download and watch any of the replays you want, and you'd have 1 month of class live with me. And you could also get those recorded as well. So it's $97 for the investment, and you get 1 month of class and a year of replays. And what you're going to get from this is, expert answers to specific questions, actionable tips to implement right away, confidence and clarity, and a supportive community. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. And for those of you who are not here, I'm going to be emailing an email with all of this information. But in the meantime, maybe I'm not putting the link in the chat. Here it is. Okay, this is why we have an assistant. So I'm putting the link in the chat. And in the meantime, I would love to know if you have any questions. Chat. And thank you for responding. Valerie is going to do a professional Facebook business page. Good, thank you. Okay, and now we just have somebody who's just joining who maybe didn't get the memo.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, I've been told or heard that if you're sharing a picture of something that you're getting from somebody else and you want to post it on your page, do you get more engagement if you take it into Canva and kind of alter it a little bit so it's your own picture rather than a copy from somebody else? You get more engagement then?
Okay, so it's possible that you would get more engagement if what you're sharing is better than what was already shared. But I don't think it's necessarily just arbitrary that you automatically get more engagement if you put it in Canva and make it your own. So there's a few things that I want to say about that. If it is like some sort of a royalty related photo and you take it, you can't take it and put it in Canva and change it, because that could be a royalty violation. So you don't want to do that, because like you can share someone else's picture wherever, but you can't change it or add your logo or your name or any of that, because then you could be violating royalties. Number one. Number two, you definitely, as I said, it's better to share it as an original post than to click the share button. So you can definitely, I like, it's so much easier to do this on the phone. You press your finger and copy for the content, save the photo to your phone, and just share it as an original post. You definitely get more visibility for that.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
But what they were saying was like to shrink the picture and put a border on the side, like a similar color. So then it's like your own picture now instead
I
of.
mean, honestly, Becky, so I was in the wedding industry for 20 years, and I know a lot of photographers. and I do not mess with other people's photos. If I got a royalty-free photo, I get my photos royalty-free from Pixabay or Unsplash, and when I save them to my computer, I save it with the identification number so that if it ever comes back to me, I have the identification number that it was a royalty-free photo. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm like, I do not want to touch other people's photos because I don't know. I know people who have gotten emails from like National Geographic and whatever for bills for editing photos. So to me, it's just like it's a gray area that I would not want to tiptoe into. Um, so does anyone have any other questions? And I want to welcome Sharon. I think I said your name right. I hope I said your name right. Okay. And now here's somebody else who's coming who did not get the time change message. Okay, and welcome Perry. So the time was changed on this class to 10 o'clock. And there were only 3 people on the list that had this time when I sent the message out, so I'm not sure what happened. But in the meantime, I'm going to end the recording.